I thought long and hard about this uh, over the last few hours because I had no intentions, Molly, of talking about this at all. Clearly took exception to some of the things that he heard me say, and he confronted me about it.
Floyd's broke. You got to understand, the only thing more embellished than Floyd Mayweather's pay-per-view numbers is Floyd Mayweather's net worth, and he made a lot of money. But remember this, it does not matter what you made, it matters what you kept, and he is a dum-dum.
I believe that Floyd Mayweather has gone completely broke. And not just broke, but millions and millions of dollars in debt. And I know it sounds crazy to some of you out there, but trust me, I have legitimate proof.
Stephen A. Smith has publicly challenged Floyd Mayweather over a claim that raised a lot of eyebrows. The boxing legend recently suggested that he had purchased 62 buildings valued at around $42 million. But according to multiple reports, that story doesn't quite match the facts. Investigations into the deal indicate that Mayweather may not actually own those properties outright. Instead, the reports say his involvement appears to be limited to smaller ownership stakes rather than full control of the buildings. That difference has sparked a wave of questions about what was really meant by the original claim. Stephen A. Smith didn't hold back when addressing the situation. He openly questioned whether Mayweather may have stretched the truth about the investment. His concern was simple. Was this a genuine misunderstanding, or was the story exaggerated to protect Mayweather's image during a period filled with rumors about financial trouble? The speculation has only intensified because of ongoing talk about potential bankruptcy concerns and a possible $42 million investment controversy connected to the situation. If those concerns turn out to have merit, it would explain why critics believe the real estate claim might have been presented in a way that sounded much bigger than it actually was. For now, the debate continues. On one side, Mayweather's reputation as one of the wealthiest athletes in combat sports history stands strong. On the other, voices like Stephen A. Smith are pushing for clarity, asking whether the numbers and ownership details truly add up.
To my lifestyle, showing the people how I live. Now, I know you guys see me on a regular talking about real estate. Well, lately, I purchased 62 apartment buildings in New York City. And what I need you guys to do, slide over and check out the photos. It's not all 62 buildings, it's a few buildings, but guess what? All the buildings belong to me. I don't have no partners. And all the retail down low on my buildings all belong to me.
Stephen A. Smith has never hesitated to acknowledge Floyd Mayweather's brilliance inside the boxing ring. Over the years, he has repeatedly spoken highly of Mayweather's career, pointing to the remarkable stretch where Floyd dominated the sport and remained unbeaten deep into his run at the top. Smith has frequently highlighted the qualities that made Mayweather so difficult to beat. The discipline, the precision, and especially that legendary defensive skill set that frustrated even the most dangerous opponents. Add to that a spotless professional record, and in Smith's view, the case for Mayweather's greatness becomes impossible to ignore. Stephen A. Floyd represented the definition of technical mastery in boxing. Every movement, every adjustment, every counter felt calculated. He wasn't simply stepping into the ring, looking for a knockout. His approach was built around control, intelligence, and making sure his opponent had almost no path to victory. That methodical style allowed Mayweather to dominate era after era while protecting his undefeated record. And because of that consistency at the highest level, he earned admiration not only from loyal fans but also from analysts and critics who recognized the rare level of strategy behind his success.
Mayweather was undefeated for the last half of his career with one hand. He constantly broke his hand.
Yeah.
He would go into a ring knowing he had no shot at knocking somebody out because his hands were hurt too much, and literally walked in the ring and said, I'm going to embarrass you and humiliate you by showing the world you can't hit me.
But that admiration started to fade once Mayweather entered a completely different stage of his career, the exhibition era. After stepping away from professional competition, Floyd returned to the ring, but this time it didn't appear to be about legacy or proving anything in the sport. To many observers, it looked more like a business decision point. One of the clearest examples was his exhibition against Logan Paul. Stephen A. Smith didn't hesitate to voice his opinion about that matchup. From his perspective, the fight offered almost no real competitive value. Logan Paul, known primarily as a YouTuber who later stepped into boxing, simply wasn't viewed as a legitimate test for someone with Mayweather's resume. The skill gap alone made the contest feel more like a spectacle than a serious bout, and that's where Smith's criticism came in. For a fighter who once stood at the very top of the sport, dominating world champions and building an undefeated legacy, stepping into the ring for a matchup like that gave off a very different impression. Instead of reinforcing greatness, it felt more like a move designed to generate a massive payday.
This boxer in history, he's absolutely sensational, but he retired years ago. And for me personally, I know these exhibition matches are entertaining. I like the one with Conor McGregor, not so much the one with Logan Paul. Looking at these exhibitions and all of that stuff, that little melee and stuff don't matter to me. As far as I'm concerned, it could have potentially been orchestrated. I don't know, but I do know not just anybody should be allowed to be in the ring with Floyd Money Mayweather.
Absolutely.
Stephen A. Smith didn't limit his criticism to just the Logan Paul exhibition. In several interviews, he made it clear that his concern went deeper than one single matchup. What troubled him most was the broader pattern behind Mayweather's exhibition. To be fair, Smith acknowledged that Floyd's fight with Conor McGregor made sense. McGregor came from a legitimate combat sports background and was already a massive global star. That crossover bout had a level of intrigue and credibility attached to it, but beyond that, Smith felt the choices started to cross a line. When opponents don't come close to matching Floyd's skill or experience, the fights begin to look less like competition and more like guaranteed paydays. And in Smith's view, that approach risks chipping away at the incredible reputation Mayweather built during his professional career. For someone who spent years crafting one of the most respected records in boxing history, leaning heavily into exhibitions against clearly overmatched opponents sends a different message. According to Smith, it began to feel like the focus had shifted away from protecting a historic legacy and toward maximizing earnings. The perception, at least from his perspective, became hard to ignore. What once symbolized greatness in the sport was now starting to look like a business model where the pursuit of money seemed to outweigh the meaning behind the fights.
What I do know, which is where my disappointment comes from. When you are as great as Floyd Money Mayweather, everybody doesn't deserve to be in your space. I know you like to make money. You're never going to stop making money. Very, very few people on the planet know how to make money like you know how to make money. But some of this stuff has got to stop. You want to get Conor McGregor in the ring for an exhibition match? All right, that's fine. You know, Conor sold that. It was great marketing. He's not a boxer, but hey, he was a knockout artist in the UFC. I get it.
That concern reached a boiling point during one especially blunt interview. Stephen A. Smith put the question on the table without hesitation. What truly matters more, the fortune you've built or the legacy you leave behind? It was the type of question that forced a moment of reflection. But whenever Mayweather addressed it, the conversation almost always drifted back to the same theme: business and profits. He spoke proudly about his financial instincts, the deals he had made, and the massive revenue he managed to generate throughout his career. To some listeners, those answers sounded like the mindset of a savvy entrepreneur. But to Smith and many others watching the exchange, the message felt different. It seemed as if the emphasis had shifted away from historical greatness and toward financial victory. The impression that lingered was simple. The money had been secured. The fortune was already there. Yet the deeper question remained unresolved. Was the pursuit of wealth beginning to outweigh the long-term respect that comes with protecting a legendary career?
But the main thing is, I made smart investments, and I still make millions every month.
Do you care about your boxing legacy?
More than what?
We ain't gonna say more than money. We know better. We're not gonna say more than money. We know better.
More than my family? No. So what's more important? My children. Because when I make this money, you know what? I put my children and my family in a position that they are entrepreneurs. They are bosses. I don't want my kids to have to answer to nobody. So I will take the long road. I will take the bumps and the bruises for them, but for my loved ones.
That heavy emphasis on money has also started shaping how younger athletes view the sport. Stephen A. Smith argued that the new generation isn't necessarily looking up to Floyd Mayweather for the technical brilliance that once defined his career. The sharp footwork, the defensive genius, the ring intelligence that made him nearly impossible to solve, those qualities don't seem to be the main attraction anymore. Instead, what many rising fighters appear to notice first is the wealth, the lifestyle, and the larger-than-life image that surrounds him. The focus shifts from studying the craft to admiring the financial success and the spectacle that comes with it.in Smith's eyes. That shift creates a troubling message for boxing. When the spotlight moves away from skill and dedication and lands solely on the size of the payday, the sport begins to lose something important. It suggests that chasing money matters more than perfecting the art of fighting. And if that mindset continues to spread, Smith believes it could slowly chip away at the very values that once defined Mayweather's own.
The businessman in Mayweather, they actually love even more. As the sun clearly set on the boxing career of Mayweather, many can reflect on a lot of things about the man. He wasn't a Mike Tyson-like knockout artist, or even Tommy the Hitman Hearns. To many, he wasn't even Sugar Ray Leonard. He certainly can't be confused with Muhammad Ali or any other fighter who's ever been socially conscious. No doubt he was guilty of domestic violence, as our very own The Undefeated accurately pointed out. He definitely had his share of boring fights that didn't give the people what they actually wanted to see. But that ain't the legacy these athletes are paying attention to. What they're paying attention to instead is the $1 billion plus Mayweather has earned in his career. How box office he made himself. How he's been his own boss, answerable to no commissioner, no owner, no GMs, and barely even the fans for the last decade in achieving unprecedented wealth, fame, and control of his own name, his own brand. And how despite strenuous efforts by so many to bring him down, they simply weren't able to do it. You want to see an athlete drool? The idolized displaying deference and respect?
That shift in priorities became even more obvious during a moment that caught a lot of attention. Mayweather was asked why he chose to step into the ring with Logan Paul rather than pursue a bigger, more competitive name, such as Tyson Fury. His response was simple, and for many people, surprising. He pointed to Logan Paul's massive social media following. There was no discussion about skill level, no mention of competitive intrigue, and nothing about building legacy. The reasoning came down to reach and audience size. For critics, including Stephen A. Smith, that answer said a lot of them. It signaled a clear change in motivation. The focus no longer seemed to be about testing himself against elite competition or adding meaningful chapters to his boxing story. Instead, the decision appeared driven by visibility, attention, and the financial opportunities that come with a huge online audience. From that perspective, the message felt unmistakable. The fights weren't about proving greatness anymore. They were about drawing the biggest crowd and generating the biggest payday.
Logan Paul.
Name another boxer besides myself that's more famous than Logan Paul.
Tyson Fury.
What? I want you to look up Tyson Fury, how many followers, and look up how many followers Logan Paul has.
Logan Paul, 56 million. Tyson Fury, 4 million.
So 50 compared to 4 something. I can fight a fighter right now, guarantee myself 35 million. Or me and Logan Paul can go out and entertain and have fun and make 100 million or more. So if you were me, you gotta look at 35 million for 12 rounds and 100 for 6 rounds.
There was a time when Floyd Mayweather sat at the very top of the financial ladder in sports. Not just within boxing, but across the entire athletic world. His name became synonymous with record-breaking paydays and unmatched earning power. That success didn't just make headlines. It earned him a level of respect that few athletes ever reach. But lately, that image has started to face new scrutiny. As fresh reports and circulating rumors about his financial situation continue to surface, the narrative around his wealth has begun to shift. For a fighter who built his reputation on precision, discipline, and calculated decisions both inside and outside the ring, those questions carry weight. Mayweather was always viewed as someone who planned every move carefully, someone who understood the business of boxing better than anyone else. Now, however, some critics are beginning to challenge the very fortune he so confidently talks about. The same wealth that once strengthened his public image is becoming the subject of growing curiosity and debate.
Floyd Mayweather, the highest paid athlete, not the highest paid boxer, the highest paid athlete in the world. I had the opportunity and pleasure to be around him for many years. I was his personal shopper. I was a personal friend of his family. One of my greatest memories of being just lucky enough to even be around that environment was watching him train. Watching Floyd Mayweather train is a masterclass in discipline. It is a masterclass in work ethic. It is a masterclass in this is how you execute and get stuff done. Every rep, he hits it hard. There's not one lazy rep. He does everything at such a high frequency, so elevated. I'm like, goodness gracious, watching this man train, it's like, that's how I want to train for life. I've been to the club with Floyd where we leave in the club 3-4 in the morning and he's still going to hit his 6 miles. He'll have all the cars follow him and he's running down the Las Vegas Strip, down backstreet.
For years, Floyd Mayweather made a point of putting his wealth on full display. Few athletes embrace the image of luxury quite like he did. One of the most talked about examples was the moment he revealed a watch reportedly worth around $1.8 million, a purchase so extravagant it stunned even people used to celebrity lifestyles, and the watch was just one piece of the picture. Exotic cars, including rare Bugattis, private jets, stacks of cash shown off on social media. His world seemed built around constant displays of success and excess to the time. Those moments reinforced the image he carefully crafted. The ultimate winner who dominated both the ring and the bank account. But lately, those same flashes of wealth are being viewed through a different lens. What once looked like untouchable financial power is now being revisited by critics who are starting to ask deeper questions about the reality behind the lifestyle.
How much is it?
$1.8 million.
$1.8 million watch.
$1.8 million, dude?
You're the first to see it.
That's insane. That
1.8 is high. 18 life.
Happy birthday, champ.
That's how we doing.
1 point. That is sick, dude.
But you gotta show him what he's saying.
Money green.
No,
Hold on. This watch was made specifically for the champ, Floyd Money Mayweather. One of one piece.
One of one.
The money team.
Can we see it on him?
Yes, sir.
That one of one.
$1.8 million.
It's a one of one. I love that.
Adding fuel to the fire, former UFC fighter and analyst Chael Sonnen dropped a revelation that raised eyebrows. He suggested that the hype around the Mayweather versus McGregor fight's financial success wasn't entirely accurate. According to Sonnen, a number of the empty seats were masked by people strategically placed to make it appear the arena was completely sold out. Covering the event live, he criticized the illusion crafted by Mayweather's PR team, highlighting a side of the spectacle few fans ever saw. But the financial questions didn't start with flashy events. Before Floyd earned the nickname Money Mayweather, he reportedly faced serious trouble. Reports emerged that he was on the verge of jail time due to unpaid taxes. To stave off prison, he allegedly had to borrow $2 million just to cover part of his debt. Suddenly, the narrative of a flawless financial mastermind looked far less clear. Instead of the story of a savvy entrepreneur always on top, it painted a picture of a man walking a tightrope, balancing on the edge of a major financial collapse.
Eric B. were at, from Eric B. and Rakim, we were at the Mondrian. Floyd Mayweather was there. He had some tax issues. He was about to go to jail, but that's before Money Mayweather. That's Pretty Boy Floyd.
Got you.
He was speaking to E. He needed a couple of $1 million to stay out of jail. I called my man Neil, who I was rocking with heavy. He owns Scunty, the hair accessory company. Everybody thought I was crazy. They said, "Yo, loan me $2 million. I want to sign Floyd." He flew out, loaned me the $2 million, and from there on,
the figures tell a striking story. Reports indicate that Floyd Mayweather once faced a staggering $22.2 million tax bill owed to the IRS. For a man often hailed as the richest athlete in the world, that number is hard to ignore, and IT painted a stark contrast to the persona he projected. While fans saw luxury cars, private jets, and million-dollar watches, the reality behind the scenes suggested that the opulent lifestyle may have been more image than substance. The numbers hinted at a financial picture far messier than the carefully curated Money Mayweather image the public had come to admire.
Floyd Money Mayweather up until recently didn't have any money, so Floyd is the highest earning athlete in his career, making over $1.1 billion. And after making a killing, he ended up retiring in 2017. However, he dug himself into a hole after making super lavish purchases like this LA mansion. It was so bad that he actually owed $22.2 million to the IRS, which made him have to come out of retirement to pay that back. Like and follow for more.
Even 50 Cent, who once had a close relationship with Floyd Mayweather, weighed in on the situation. In interviews, he painted a sobering picture of Floyd's finances, claiming that years of extravagant spending, from high-end jewelry to high-stakes gambling, eventually left him nearly broke. According to 50 Cent, this financial strain explains a lot about Mayweather's recent career choices. Fighting YouTubers and taking exhibition bouts wasn't just a strategic move, it was a financial necessity. The man who once controlled his legacy with precision was now stepping back into the ring, risking that very reputation, all in the pursuit of replenishing his wealth.
I believe that Floyd Mayweather has gone completely broke. And not just broke, but millions and millions of dollars in debt. And I know it sounds crazy to some of you out there, but trust me, I have legitimate proof. Watch this.
He asked me to help him, so I could stop them from using TMT as their logo right now. Because
you wouldn't do that because y'all cool again.
Yeah, I'm just not chasing it. But to be honest with you, I incorporated TMT in Delaware while he was incarcerated. Because he didn't sign the paper doesn't mean the corporation isn't valid. So I could actually, technically it trademarks the term of it because his entire corporation is built on it. So I could tell you, you can't have TMT socks. You can't have that TMT shirt you got on. He don't understand that because he's just not. I just said it, and he won't be able to figure out that I could do that.
Damn, you and this guy, man. I thought y'all was good again.
We are good. I just don't understand why he having the conversation. How am I coming up in conversation? I don't even care about what they're doing.
So there's still some static.
No, it only happens when it's fight time.
Got it.
It's time to build some type of energy or some sort of press. Right. It's time to make a fight, and then that happens.
So through the BX Fight Club, you met someone,
Isaac, right? Because they had to legalize it on paper to turn it into like a dark show, like when they don't have television involved with a boxing event. Even Floyd, when you make yourself like we got issues over your anger, he's still the best fighter out there. Until somebody beat him, that's who he is.
Do you think he should step back in the ring?
I think he got to right now because the money gone.
So the money's really gone?
Yeah. That's what you think. Is get the money, spend the money.
Another boxing icon, Oscar de la Hoya, didn't hold back either. He publicly urged Mayweather to reconsider his choices, emphasizing that protecting one's legacy should outweigh chasing fleeting attention or clout. That De La Hoya's comments echoed a sentiment shared by many in the boxing world. The message was clear. Floyd had spent decades crafting an untouchable image, and continuing down the path of exhibitions and spectacle could put all of that hard-earned respect at risk. The warning was simple. It was time to stop before the legacy he fought so hard to build began to unravel.
Mayweather fought another exhibition against Gotti last Saturday. A real the crowd booing in the arena at the end. But in the middle of the second round, Floyd literally had the referee swapped out. He didn't like that the referee told him to stop hitting behind the head. Floyd is used to having the refs do whatever he wants, and he wasn't getting his way this time. It was so embarrassing. Floyd, you're 50 years old. You're a legend in the sport. I've stood up for you in countless interviews, including Shannon Sharp's podcast last week. But you have to stop embarrassing yourself with these exhibitions. I know life is hard. I know life is expensive. But come on, dude, put your legacy first. Nobody wants to remember you like this. And it gets worse. Your jeweler filed a lawsuit against you in Miami. And many are saying you're going to have to sell off your assets.
When news broke that Floyd Mayweather had donated to homeless shelters in Los Angeles, it initially sparked a wave of admiration. For a moment, it seemed like a glimpse of generosity from the man known for excess. But that admiration quickly gave way to skepticism. Mayweather himself posted on Instagram, showing he was still in Dubai, a clear contradiction to the timeline of the alleged donation. To many, it looked less like charity and more like an attempt to polish his public image, an effort that backfired, leaving his credibility in question. The situation escalated further when Gervonta Davis, once mentored by Mayweather, made a startling claim. Davis alleged that Floyd wasn't on some world tour, as he had suggested. Instead, according to Davis, Mayweather was being held in Dubai over unpaid debts tied to luxury jewelry and other extravagant purchases. The accusation was bold and explosive, clashing directly with Floyd's version of events. Fans were left stunned, and the controversy only grew, adding yet another layer to the ongoing debate over Mayweather's finances and public persona.
Let's talk about this picture of Mayweather in Dubai that's going viral. Here's the backstory. According to Gervonta Davis, Floyd Mayweather is being held hostage in Dubai over unpaid debts. Boxing agent Rick Glazer confirmed Davis's comments by saying Floyd is desperately trying to work things out with Dubai's court system. And that's why my comment, blink twice if you're stuck there, on this post is getting a lot of attention. Mayweather still hasn't addressed the situation, so stay tuned.
While Mayweather flooded social media with photos and stories portraying himself on a glamorous world tour, Gervonta Davis insisted the reality was far different. According to Davis, Floyd was actually stranded in Dubai, unable to leave until his debts were paid. This revelation cast even more doubt on Mayweather's current financial standing. What looked like a carefully curated global adventure was, in Davis's account, a cover-up to hide serious money troubles. In an effort to protect his image, Floyd allegedly amplified claims about his wealth, including the bold assertion that he owned 62 buildings valued at $42 million. Far from bolstering his reputation, these exaggerations only fueled skepticism and further tarnished the carefully crafted persona of Money Mayweather.
Turns out that the rumors were true, and Floyd Mayweather has been trapped in Dubai for the last 50 days. Gervonta Davis was the first to claim it. Now multiple insider sources have confirmed that he is in fact trapped in Dubai for a debt that has nothing to do with boxing. After doing a little digging, it seems that someone in his camp, while he was shopping for jewelry in Dubai, stole one of the pieces, got away with it, and then blocked all communication with Mayweather. Since then, Floyd has already paid for the jewelry, but they refuse to let him go until they get their piece back. And allegedly, this guy right here is the thief that started this whole mess.
That wraps up today's deep dive. Make sure to stay tuned for more updates and insights. See you in the next one.